Hey guys, welcome to the Cinema Corral. This is the segment of my YouTube channel that just kind of serves as a place for me to play catch up in terms of movie reviews. So for instance, if I'm out of town for a weekend and I miss a couple movies or whatever, I can just do one of these and get you guys up to speed on everything that I've seen that's playing at my theater. In the case of this video though, I did see all of these movies. I am aware that a couple of these had earlier release dates than this past weekend, the weekend of the 29th of March. But we just got them at my theater, so I'm counting them as new releases. There were 6 movies that came out at my theater this past weekend, and instead of sitting down and doing individual reviews for every single one of them, I figured I'd focus on the 2 big ones, Dumbo and Unplanned, since I had more to say about those than these ones. So without further ado, let's jump right into it, and let's talk about the Mustang. The Mustang is directed by Laura de Clermont-Tonnerre. Probably just massively butchered that. I'm also probably going to massively butcher the lead actor's name, Matthias Schoenaerts. It's a film about a program that I don't think a lot of people really know about. I didn't really know about it until this film came out. It mostly takes place in, the western states of the United States, where there are a bunch of wild horses still running free, and they have these inmates in prisons try and tame them, and studies have shown that people who have taken part in this program have a lower chance of becoming a repeat criminal after they're released. And so this follows the story of a character's name is Roman, and it's apparently based on a true story, and him trying to tame this wild Mustang. Roman's got massive anger issues. He's a father who's been in prison for 12 years. His daughter doesn't really want to speak to him, and she's pregnant. So essentially, he missed out on the majority of his daughter's life. I'm not going to say that this film has the greatest plot. It's kind of bare bones, but it's really not about the plot. It's more about the character. This is a great character piece. You really care about Roman. You want to see him do better. You want to see him be able to tame this horse, and you just kind of find yourself rooting for him. And it's a very compelling story. The cinematography is amazing. The score is fantastic. I love this movie. Matthias delivers a fantastic performance, and the director does such a fantastic job of keeping the story just focused on Roman. I don't really have too much else to say about this. It's a good movie. Go see it. I'm going to give it a B. I don't know if I'm going to pay full price for it on Blu-ray. I do kind of want to add it to my collection. I just don't think I'd pay the $20 for it. Maybe if I saw it down for like 15 or 10, I would definitely pick it up. But it is worth a watch, and I recommend it. Next up, we got Beach Bum, the latest film by Harmony Korine. And I love and hate this movie. I was talking to somebody yesterday about this movie, and we were just trying to figure out what it meant. Like, we know what it is about. It's about, well, this beach bum played by Matthew McConaughey that just kind of skates through life, not really caring about anything. He drinks all the time, and he smokes weed all the time, and he's hanging out with his friends, one of them played by Snoop Dogg. He's a poet, but he just kind of lives a free and easy lifestyle. And so the movie is about him trying to write his next book, this next collection of poetry, and you kind of just follow him as he goes through these random adventures. Like I said, I love and hate this film, and I think just might be Korine's directing style, because I had a similar problem with Spring Breakers when I first saw it. I first saw that movie back when I was in high school, and I'm like, this is awful. This is not very good at all. And then, I watched it a couple times in film courses and just kind of broke it down and started to really digest what the film was trying to say. And it started to click with me, so I think I might need to give this one a watch or two more. I definitely appreciate it though, and just kind of confused as to why a studio thought that this would appeal to a mainstream audience. I think they might have thought that, Seth Rogen was really popular for a couple of years with his stoner comedies, and this is kind of a stoner comedy, so, it might bring in some money. It's doing better at the box office than I expected it to. It's just a weird movie, man. I'm still trying to figure it out. I do love the cinematography. Every shot in this film is gorgeous. The editing is also pretty cool. I love how 2 characters will be having a conversation, and it'll skip to them doing different things, but still having that same conversation as if we're just getting the important bits, like one flowing sentence from a character, but they're doing different things. It's so interesting. I don't know if it was because I was just going in expecting a conventional plot or anything, but around the beginning of the 3rd act, the film started to drag a little bit for me, so I think I might have just been expecting too much normalcy out of a Harmony Korine film, which I probably should stop doing that, but in any case, right now as it stands, I'm going to give it a C-. This might change after repeat viewings. I definitely want to look at it again because there is some stuff in there that's definitely worth trying to examine and piece together. Next up, we got The Aftermath, and it's directed by James Kent. More like James Kent direct a compelling story. This is a very cliched period piece that takes place in Germany after World War II, like 6 months after the war is won. And it's about this British couple moving in with a German father and his daughter. The film isn't very good, it's just very cliche. The production design is fantastic though, and the cast is pretty good. You got Keira Knightley, Alexander Skarsgård, Jason Clarke. You got these really good actors, and they're definitely doing the most with what they're given, but they're not given very much to work with. It just kind of feels like one of those period piece smut novels that middle-aged women always seem to gravitate towards and read at the beach for some reason. It's just not very good. It's melodramatic, and Keira Knightley is rather unlikable in this. Like, she does a good job, but her character is very unlikable. She seems very selfish in this film. Fortunately, when I went to go see this, the auditorium was completely empty, so I was allowed to crack jokes at the film's expense. I don't know why people are saying that this is a good movie. It's not really. It might just come down to people enjoying the performance of the actors. You know, it's pretty strong, but the story is weak and thin, and I don't care about the characters, and it's cliche, and it's boring, massively boring. It took 7 minutes into the film for the boredom to kick in. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your money. I'm giving it a D-. Alright, the last film we're going to talk about is Hotel Mumbai, and this is based on the true story of a hotel being overrun by terrorists in India back in 2008. I'm of two minds. On the one hand, it's well put together. I will say that. It's pretty well shot, it's pretty well acted. You got Dev Patel, you got Armie Hammer. They turn in solid performances. The editing is pretty good, the music's pretty good. There is some tension going on throughout this film, which was kind of what you would expect out of these films. But that leads me into my second point. Really need another film like this. Last year we had the 1517 to Paris, and we had 7 Days in Entebbe. I'm just kind of getting tired of these films, and I've seen a lot of people call this film exploitative, and I kind of have to agree with them. I mean, it's not like these types of films should be off limits. I mean, you can have amazing films. Look at the Battle of Algiers. I've watched that so many times in film school, and I never really get tired of it because it's such a strong, compelling film. But this one, it feels cheap, and I know that this probably wasn't the intent, but I came away knowing more about the terrorists than the actual people. And this film is supposed to focus on the heroic acts of everyday people in these kind of situations. So, you know, you have multiple main characters, which is another problem I'll get into. But the first shot of this film is the terrorists coming over by boat to go terrorize people. And the first shot of your film is important. That kind of tells you what you need to be focusing on, or at least the first sequence is important. It's setting the world up. It's setting up the characters that you're going to be spending the runtime with. I feel like there was more time dedicated to the terrorists. I feel like the terrorist names were repeated more times than the actual main characters. Again, I don't think that was the main intent of the director. I don't think that they were trying to sympathize with the terrorists, but I feel like the focus was too much on them in a film that was supposed to be about the heroism of, you know, the people that were in this hostage situation. I couldn't really tell you anything about the main characters of this film because, like I said, we don't focus on them. One of them is a dad, and he's married to a woman who happens to be Muslim. And then there's this rich Russian business guy, and some Australian hikers or something. And the characters are just really thin. This isn't a poorly constructed movie, though. I want to make that abundantly clear. This is not an awful movie. I don't really think it's worth paying full price to see. I won't be adding it to my collection. If you want to see it as matinee, sure, whatever, go ahead. I'm going to give it a C-. I just think it's kind of lame that these films keep getting made. I don't know if I made any sense with that, but whatever. Those are my thoughts of the other 4 films that I saw this past weekend. If you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me over on Facebook at Mario Benessi YouTube. I got some other videos planned. I'm going to be doing another video about a film movement. I recently found out that there is actually another series, a more successful series on YouTube called Film Schooled. So from now on, that is going to be Silver Screen Academy. I have some plans to do some video essays, as well as a couple of rewind reviews. So stay tuned to the channel, and I will see you next time.